Welcome along. Good to be back with you on the Ref Show. My thanks to both Rob Staten and to Mike Sewell for sitting in during my absence on holiday. We've started with a very packed full of incident opening weekend in the Premier League. As ever, there were some errors, but on balance, there were also some very good refereeing performances. What we're going to try and do on You Are the Ref this season is to turn some of those negatives into positives and talk to our experts and make them learning opportunities for referees at grassroots level. There are also lessons to be learned perhaps in terms of those who select referees to certain matches. There was one particular debate on that score, and in the second part of the Ref Show we'll be looking at a perhaps better late than never start towards pinning down the cheats and actually getting them charged. Welcome to Keith, welcome to Carlton. Do you know, I've rarely seen such a 50-50 split on opinion as there was over the sending off of Chelsea keeper Courtois in their 2-2 draw against Swansea. Michael Oliver was the referee. Before we go to the expert, Carlton, how did you see it? He was sent off for denying a goal-scoring opportunity. Should it have been a red card?
I think so. I think the referee's got it spot on. As I say, referees can only call it as they see it at the time. They don't have the luxury of reruns and whatever. He has to call it at the time. I think he got it spot on.
Okay, that was the view, I think, on Match of the Day, and lots of pundits have said that. Others have said the opposite. What do you think, Keith?
In law, he's wrong, because we talk about the direction. And this is the difficulty for the referee. He's got one view, and he's made his call. He's made a brilliant call that it's a penalty. On replay, as Carlton says, we can actually analyse it in more detail. The ball is moving away from goal. The probability of control by the forward, because the ball's moving away from him, puts that element of doubt. And the law is very specific because it says it has to be obvious. So in truth, post-match, when you review it, less than obvious. But putting in context, this is why I think some way down the line they've got to have a video review, because that, like rugby, could have shown me why I shouldn't allow a red card or whatever. And the video would come in quickly. The guy would be in touch to give that view.
For better or worse, you've got a referee there in Michael Oliver who seems utterly unafraid to make a big call. He's
a brilliant referee. Make no mistake, this guy is world class. He's moving in that area. Still got, to pick up the aspects of experience, when to come in, when to have a chat to the players. I'd like to see him doing a little more of that off the ball rather than making it public. Perhaps belittling the players when he's no need to come in. Having said that, he's learning quickly. Great prospect for English refereeing, a great replacement for Howard Webb.
Okay, and overall, before we go into the controversies, which obviously get highlighted more than the good performances because they're talking points. For instance, the appointment of Simon Hooper to Norwich Crystal Palace raised eyebrows, and it turned out to be a disastrous one, to be fair, for PGMOL. But overall, the weekend, Keith, what was your assessment?
A really good start. I think a positive start. The guys were up for it. We saw the usual names delivering. Clattenburg at Bournemouth, delivering a first-class performance. John Moss scraping through the game at Manchester United with little controversy. Craig Pawson. So I think that the majority of decisions given were accurate. I think the PGMOL today, this morning, should be reviewing their appointment policy. We've said it before. We continue to say it. 4 or 5 weeks into the season, with the games bedded down, that's the time to bring in your novice referee. Simon Hooper had a good season last year. He had a playoff, just like Andrew Madley. And therefore, we want fresh faces. They brought him in too quickly. I mean, first game of the season, he's completely exposed. He's not up to the pace of the Premier League. It's different. He's not up to the pressure of an event. There's loads of things that actually can take away the concentration from a referee. And of course, there's pressure. And how you deal with pressure is the real point of call for a referee.
How would the professionals have seen that, the players, the managers of the two teams? We've got a Premier League game. It looks a low-key one. You know, you've got Norwich City and Crystal Palace, but suddenly you're not getting an established Premier League referee. You're getting somebody that you've barely heard of from the Football League. How would you react if you were...
Well, if I was a manager, I'd have been disappointed at the start because although you're saying it's a low-key game, it's one of those games for me that was always going to be a close game. Yeah. So there was going to be close scores in that game. So you'd need somebody more experienced than, say, Man United Spurs. Correct. Doing that game because there were going to be contentious points and close calls. As it was, the mistakes he made in the game didn't alter the fact that Crystal Palace were the better side and win. And to be fair to Alex Neil, he came out and said that. He didn't criticise the referee. He said, you know, our mistakes cost us the game, which was the fact.
Well, he denied a penalty. There was a push on Bassong, I think, in that game, the Crystal Palace winning 3-1. I think that was, Wickham was involved in that. And obviously the big talking point is this disallowed goal. It's Cameron Jerome with a great hook and overhead kick, which is one of the great spectacles of the game, Carlton, isn't it?
It is. I mean, it's a bad call. That's as simple as it is. It's a bad call.
What would Mark Hughes have made of it in his playing day? And Dennis Law, Keith?
Well, I think there's enough examples where the goal's been allowed. You know, this is the pressure that's put on an individual. And it's a big pressure refereeing a Premier League game, no matter what the teams are. And he's there and he's wanting everything to be absolutely 100%. And as a result, what he loses is thinking time. And that thinking time just goes, everybody's happy, away. And I often use with referees when we're coaching, and I say to young referees now watching this show, no surprises. Yeah. That was a surprise to everybody.
Mark Halsey made a great point, actually, and we'll come to one of the matches that he did ref cam for, but on an observation he made, and actually you and he both immediately flagged up this appointment of Simon Hooper as being a potential cause of trouble for PGMOL. He made the point that Hooper had an early opportunity to stamp his authority because there was a pretty bad challenge by Murray on Dorrans early in that game, and he neglected to act.
Well, I mean, this is the difference of inconsistency across a group of referees. He's not a professional referee, so he's not being privy to all the meetings that take place. What the PGMOL have to do is just like a team manager with his players, is prepare them mentally, use of the sports psychologist, nutritionalist, he looked a bit heavy, fitness, he looked a bit lacking in pace. And all these things are done off the field of play. And then he joins the group and they discuss and they gain confidence and they spin off each other.
It's not his fault he's there, though, is it?
Absolutely not. I take this guy has clearly, in the eyes of many, got potential. Don't ruin him on day one. And that's what you've done. You've actually not helped this referee. I'm sure, as I understand, targeted referees, Tierney, Stroud, are likely to get up to 3 games in the Premier League. So give him a few weeks and see if he's good enough to come back. That's the decision the PGMOL have made. Don't make the same mistake that you've made in appointing Simon to this opening game of the season. He was an absolute hiding to nothing.
Right. Some good performances to highlight. You've mentioned some of them already. Keith Martin Atkinson, Arsenal, West Ham. West Ham a shot victory there at the Emirates. Mark Halsey doing that game on ref cam praised the behaviour of the players, both sets of players, which always helps.
Well, I thought on the opening day and all the matches, to be honest with you, I think players are realising now, the Premier League now, let's get this right, it's massive business, worldwide now. So there's a big onus on the players, and the managers, I'm sure, will be saying to them, listen, whatever you do now is a reflection of our football club.
That's good to see. It's good to see if you feel the behaviour was good. Liverpool winning at Stoke. Anthony Taylor, Rob Harris's ref cam made a point of praising the referee there. Just a couple to round off with. We mentioned Glenn Turner also on ref cam. There was an error from an assistant referee, Edward Short. Spurs should have had a real opening on goal there, an offside flag. But just finally in this section, Newcastle's 2-2 draw with Southampton, Craig Pawson. Newcastle's Mitrovic on debut only cautioned for a challenge which I've seen several times. Even Steve McLaren admitted that should have been red.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, this is the whole point of viewing angle, the game itself, and this retrospective review by a guy in the stand. I go on that because Craig, we know, is a very solid citizen, good referee. I've seen it, absolute red, no question.
Stonewall.
Absolute Stonewall, right. We're both agreed on that. And although it looks like we're nitpicking, Leicester, I think, scored a goal that was
Miles
ruled out for
offside. Well, I mean, the assistant referee had fallen asleep. And it's critical, you know. I mean, there's a new interpretation on offside, right? He didn't even have to worry about that because this guy was standing yards offside, clearly distracting the goalkeeper. He runs on, plays the ball and away. Now, this is a referee and assistant referee cooperation bit. This is where the referee keeps his eye on that player and asks the assistant, or the assistant seeing it raises a flag.
Keith, thank you, and thank you to Carlton. But we stress that overall, our experts think it was a pretty decent start, pretty good start by PGMOL referees. In the second part of the Ref Show, do rejoin us for that. We'll debate the FA acting on cheats, and there was also one of those fiascos where there's a walk-in goal as a result of something going badly wrong on the field of play. Do rejoin us for all of that.